Hi, honey. How's work going?
It's going great, hun. Thank you so much for dropping the kids off at school today. I sure was running late.
No problem. I saw that you were a little tired. I guess that dinner really took it out of you last night.
It definitely did. But I'm so glad that you finally got to meet my boss. It's been months since I started this new job, and it seems strange you haven't met him yet.
It was great to meet Anthony. Can we bring him into the chat? I want to thank him for coming over last night.
Of course.
Hey, Anthony. I just want to thank you for coming to our home last night for dinner. It was so great to finally meet you. Jillian always talks about you, so I'm glad I can finally put a face to a name.
I should say thank you for having me. It was nice to have a home-cooked meal, and I'm so sorry my wife Julie couldn't make it. She had a case she was working on at the office until late.
I'm very sorry she couldn't join us. Hopefully she can make the next one. Maybe by then we'll have the renovations in our upstairs bathroom finished and can show you the finished results.
Thanks so much for showing me your work in progress. Most people wouldn't want to show off their half-done bathroom, so I'm glad I got to see it. Julie and I are thinking about refinishing our master bath, and it's nice to see a realistic example of what it's going to look like and how long it's going to take. And that sounds like a great idea. I know she was so sad she couldn't make it, and I'm sure she'd love to meet you all.
Yes, we'll have to have you both over sometime, and I'm glad you got to meet the kids.
The kids were so well-mannered, and I can't believe your youngest actually came to tell you they finished their homework. I certainly never did that when I was their age. You raised some great kids, guys.
Thanks, Anthony.
You have some kids too, don't you, Anthony? Maybe we can all get together sometime. Something on the weekend?
I do. 2 girls. They're very close in age to your 2 boys, and I think that would be a great idea. Maybe we could do an outdoor thing. Something where the kids can run around and play while we drink.
That sounds like a brilliant idea, Anthony. I definitely like your way of thinking. And that bottle you brought over was superb. You definitely have excellent taste in wine.
Agreed. You'll have to tell me where I can pick up a bottle of that, so I can keep the wife happy.
The vineyard's upstate. Maybe we can all take a couple's trip and go up there for the weekend sometime. They have great accommodations. Julie and I stayed there for our anniversary last month.
Just last month? That sounds lovely.
It certainly was. We're still so in love after all these years. Just like a couple of teenagers.
And that's just like me and Mike, too. Right, Mike?
Sure, honey.
Well, I'm glad we finally were able to set this dinner up. I know Anthony and I had been talking about getting together for months now, and I'm so glad we finally got to do it.
Yes, it's amazing how you two just seem to become fast friends. Even when Jillian's only been working there for, 4 months now?
It'll be 5 months next week. She really is a great employee. Couldn't have asked for anyone better.
Oh, stop.
No, really. I'm not sure what I would have done without her. She's really been an asset here in the office, and everyone thinks so.
Sounds like a promotion to me.
Mike, stop. It's a small office, and I'm right under Anthony. If I was promoted anymore, I'd have his job.
Well, we certainly wouldn't want that. After all, you two do make a great team.
We definitely do. And I did want to apologize, Mike, for all the late nights Jillian's had at the office lately. She's really been working hard, and it's definitely not going unnoticed.
That's great to hear. I'm just glad you two get along so well. Her last boss was terrible.
Mike!
Well, he was. You're such a young, attractive, likable guy. Who wouldn't want you as a boss?
Well, thanks for the compliment, Mike. And Jillian, I have to say, that roast you made last night was absolutely delicious. You'll have to give me that recipe so I can make it sometime.
She's a great cook, isn't she? I'm such a lucky man. Tell him what you made for me on our first date, honey.
Oh, that was so long ago, Mike. And the chicken pot pie really wasn't that good.
It was so good, Anthony. She's just being modest. She made it from scratch. I was so lucky to find a girl who can cook delicious food.
That's wonderful. Julie isn't much of a cook since she works late so much. The girls end up doing most of the cooking. And I know they'd love to take a look at some of your recipes, Jillian, if you're willing to share.
Of course. I'll have them come over for an afternoon sometime, and we can make all sorts of things together. I just wish my boys would take half as much of an interest in cooking as they do.
They're much too busy with football and their studies to do the cooking, I'm afraid. They'll just have to find a good woman like I did.
Mike, stop.
Well, Julie does have a few dishes she can do. I'll see when she's free again so you can come over to our house. And don't forget to bring your bathing suits too, because we do have a pool and a jacuzzi. It's the best thing after a long day at the office. I keep telling Jillian she has to come over and use the jacuzzi one of these days.
That sounds great. I'd really like that, because hopefully I can make up for the fact I had to leave early last night. I didn't even get to stick around for dessert. Usually that's my favorite part. But there ended up an emergency at the hospital and they were short on doctors, so I had to go in.
No problem at all, Mike. I'm sure in your field that must be a common thing, to have to get up and go at the drop of a hat. It's a really noble thing you do, Mike.
Thank you, Anthony. But still, it is a shame I don't get to be at home with my wife and kids all the time. Luckily, you could keep Jillian company, though, last night. And I didn't get home until maybe midnight last night. What time did you leave, Anthony?
When was that, Jillian?
8 or 9, I think. We had dessert, and then Anthony had to go home to tuck the girls into bed. So maybe it was around 9.
You're right, it was 9.
Strange, because I didn't leave for the hospital until 9:30.
Then it must have been 10. We were having such a good time, I didn't even realize what time it was. No wonder I was so tired this morning.
Yes, Jillian really is a very accommodating hostess, and I thought the dessert was just as good as the roast we had for dinner.
It was very tasty. I even had seconds.
Me too. I'd love to have some of that dessert again. Feel free to bring it into the office anytime, Jillian. We can share it with the office, maybe for Maureen's birthday next month.
Oh, that would be perfect. Maureen loves dessert, and I know she'd love that one. So much better than the store-bought kind. I'll put that on my calendar to make her one.
I'm so bummed that I missed out on dessert. I'll have to make sure I have a slice of whatever you had last night. Tell me, honey, what did you have for dessert after dinner?
Oh, it was a lemon meringue pie I made. Don't you remember me telling you that before Anthony came over? The dessert I was planning on making?
Oh, that's right, I completely forgot. I was just so busy getting the house set up, I couldn't remember what you said last before Anthony came over.
Yes, that lemon meringue was great.
Definitely.
But you know what's funny? I saw the whole lemon meringue pie in the fridge this morning, and it was completely untouched. Did you go out and buy another one? Did you two finish the whole thing?
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure we ate that.
Even the boys said something about it this morning. They asked if Mom was saving the pie for anything. I said I didn't know.
Oh, you know what? It wasn't the lemon meringue we had for dessert.
It was some chocolate I brought over. A whole box of chocolates. I don't know how I forgot about that. Maybe it was because we were talking about the lemon meringue pie so much I thought that's what we had. But no, I brought over some chocolates. Swiss chocolates that I got on my last trip to Switzerland. I'll have to bring some over to you next time, Mike.
That sounds great, Anthony. I'd love to have some of the chocolates you and my wife ate.
Absolutely.
You'd love them, sweetie. And please, help yourself to the lemon meringue when you get home.
Will do, honey. I've always loved your cooking. And another thing, dear. Do you remember how the surveillance cameras we had set up in the house stopped working a few months ago?
Sure I do. I've been trying to get a repairman out for months to fix them.
I know you have. But since you've been working so hard, I decided to call and get someone to come out myself. And they were able to repair them last week when you were working late. Isn't that great?
You did?
Cameras in the house? Where do you have them set up?
Oh, all over, Anthony. We have one at the front and garage doors, in the basement, in the kitchen.
The kitchen?
Sure, there's that back door in the kitchen. And I'd want to know if someone broke in. Wouldn't you want to know if something was happening in your kitchen, Anthony?
Sure.
Exactly. So just to make sure nothing unexpected was happening in my kitchen, I made up the excuse of being called into work last night, and actually just went and parked my car at the end of the street. I then watched the kitchen camera on my phone the whole time you two were having dessert.
Mike, I can explain.
No need to explain, Jillian. I saw the two of you on the kitchen table, where we had just had dinner. And now I know what you mean by having seconds.
Mike, this wasn't Jillian's fault.
You're absolutely right, Anthony. It's my fault for allowing a cheater to still live in my house. Do me a favor, Jillian. Don't bother coming home tonight. I don't allow cheaters to live in the house that I pay for. You can come and pack your things while I'm at work tomorrow, but that's it. You and I are through.